what is the, now, as I said before, like the length and the width, I'm not overly worried about if you write the length in the width box and the width in the length box. It's kind of the same thing because you're still multiplying the numbers together. So whether you put this one or this one as the length, it really doesn't matter. So just because for me, sometimes it's weird for me depending on what angle they put the shapes. I always tend to go length, width, height, just because the way the shape is facing. I don't like going one angle and one like here and then there. I don't like going that order. It's just easier for me to go, oh, this side, this side, this side. But it doesn't matter. You're still going to do it. So they're still going to get multiplied together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. It doesn't matter if you put the 2 here and the 5 there. It does not matter. You hear me saying that? It doesn't matter. You still get the same answer. But you should know that the height is 2. The height is how tall it is. Okay, and so then the volume, 20. So you can look at this and see that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If there's 10 on top, there's 10 on bottom. One, 2, 3. 1, 2. If you did 2 and 3, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I were not doing the formula for volume, because here it's not giving you a place to write the volume problem. That's number 2. If I were looking at this, I would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got a layer of 6, a layer of 6, and a layer of 6, and a layer of 6. So that would be a total of 24. So you see that. That's just one way that you could do it. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should have a 4, a 2, and a 4. Or a 2, 4, 2. 2, 4, 4. Oops. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 8, 8. 32. Volume of 32. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2. Oh, well, then none of that. Let me put a 3 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 36. So in the next one, it was saying write a multiplication sentence that you could use to calculate the volume for each rectangular prism. Some of you already did that in your side area. You were already doing the math. But they were asking you if you were doing length times width times height, what would it look like? So it would be 5 times 2 times 2, or 2 times 5 times 2. B, 3 times 2 times 4. That's for shape B. Shape C, 4 times 2 times 4. That's what the volume formula would look like. That's what you should have. Okay. Were you working? Is that why you got so much stuff right now? Okay. Good grief.
I know.
Oh, and it says be sure to include your units. In each problem, it's got centimeters. So I should have included that, and I didn't. I didn't read. 4 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters. So that's what you should have. So on there, it didn't really ask you to calculate the volume because you already did. So they just asked you for the multiplication sentence. So if you actually solved it, then you did more work than it asked you to do. So on number 3, it says calculate the volume of each rectangular prism. Include the units in your number sentences. So if all you did was write the answer, is that going to make your teacher happy?
No.
Why?
Because you need to show your work how you got it.
You have to show your work. You have to show how you got it. That's the rule of the land. You have to show your work. Now, I'm tickled to death if you got the answer right, but you still have to show your work in here. I don't know of a math teacher who goes, oh, yeah, just write your answer. I'm cool with that. I've never had a teacher or met a teacher who does not ask you to show your work. I've never heard of one. It just goes, no, totally, write your answer. I mean, now, later on, when all you're doing is using a calculator, well, then of course you're not going to have to show your work because you're doing it in a calculator. When you're graphing, but even when you're graphing, you're showing your work. You have to use a calculator to get that graph. But even sometimes you're still having to write stuff out, and at the very end, you're using a calculator. But you're still having to write stuff down on a paper to show the teacher you know what you're doing. So, 4 inches times 3 inches times 4 inches. I'm tickled if you can do this in your head, but stop doing it in your head. 4 times 3 is 12 inches. Inches times inches is inches squared. If you can't keep up with that, that's fine. I'm not mad. I'm just showing it to you. 12 inches, because you have inches times inches, that's like inches squared. You put that little 2 up there. Times this remaining 4 inches. 12 times 4 is 48. Now I really had 1, 2, 3 inches times each other. It's that cubic inches at the end. I have 3 of those inches units. 3 meters times 2 meters times 6 meters. 3 times 2, 6. Times 6. 6 times 6, 36 meters cubed. If you forgot your meters, your units, that's fine. Just work on writing them. Because you see, one of them was inches, one of them was meters. Our other problems were centimeters. So you want to make sure that you include those units. Bless you, I think. Oh, okay, well then never mind, I take it back. Okay, so Tyron is constructing a box in the shape of a rectangular prism to store his baseball cards. It has a length, so I don't know if I really have to worry about drawing a box. I can just record my data. It has a length of 10 centimeters. I don't have to worry about drawing a box. Do I have to worry about drawing a box? No. It has a length of 10, a width of 7, and a height of 8. This is what the problem is telling me. What is the volume? Do I have everything I need in order to figure out the volume? What do I need in order to figure out volume? Multiplication and length times width times height. Do I have all of those?
Yes.
Yes. So to find out the volume, length times width times height. Do I have all three to figure out the volume? Yes. So it had a length of this, a width of that, and a height of that. So instead of trying to draw all those teeny tiny cubes, which will take you a really long time, can you just do the math?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's 10 times 7? 70. Do you know 7 times 8?
56.
56. 560. Don't forget your units. Centimeters cubed. Because it's centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. There's 3 centimeters that you are multiplying together, so let's get that little exponent of the 3 up top. See where I got it? I just didn't write them. Aaron says more information is needed to find the volume of the prisms. Explain why Aaron is mistaken and calculate the volume. Now, I can calculate the volume of both of these. Now, I know a couple people are like, I don't see how you can calculate the volume. To calculate the volume, I need 3 numbers, and I've only got 2. I've got 2 numbers there, and I've got 2 numbers there. I don't understand how I can calculate the volume. Miss Strickland, you've lost your mind for good. Finally, you're insane. So, let's go over again. What do you need? Because it's giving you the area, correct? What do you need to calculate the area? Say it louder and prouder. Length times width. You don't even have to do that. You're making it harder than it is. What do you need to calculate volume? Length times width times height. You don't have to divide anything. You're making it harder than it is. So we've got 2 of the same numbers. You don't have to divide anything. They've already done 2/3 of the work for you. So if they've already found the area, then they've already multiplied the 2 numbers together. So if I did this, then I could say that the area of his box is 70. The area of this box is 6. The area of this box is 12. You're doing part of the work already. So if the area of this box is 60, then that means that I took these 2 numbers together and went ahead and got 60. So what do I need to do with this other number? Don't raise your hand if you don't know. You get excited and go, oh, never mind, I don't know, I'm going to make you think.
Divided by 6.
No!
Multiply the number right there by 2, I think.
No! 60 times 5! Because these 2 numbers together, my area, the area which would be the length times the width right here, gave me 60. Volume is length times width, correct? Put your hands down. Times height. Area is length times width. Volume is length times width times height. It does not matter that right here it looks like it's the width, right? Can't I take that shape and turn it to where this would actually be the height of the shape? Oh, yeah. See, you're spending too much time going, but that's not the height. I could turn it. That side's a square. One of the missing sides that I'm not using is 5. 2 of the sides multiplied together make 60. One of the remaining sides is 5. 2 sides multiplied together make 60. The third side is 5. Multiply, 60. Multiply the third, 5. Total volume, 300 cubic centimeters. You don't need to divide anything.
Like 5 on the other side.
So this over here would be 5, but that's not even necessary. Do you even need to know that? Nope. Don't even need to know that. Not today. That's not even important today. Not today. But all we need to know, that's not even super important. Whatever the length is, whatever the width is, multiplied together, they make 60. It doesn't even matter what they are. When we multiply them together, we got 60. It can be 10 and 6. It can be 12 and 5. Who cares? When they multiplied together, they made 60. The problem did the work for us and said, hey, I multiplied those together for you, gave you 60. Throw that other number in there for me. Awesome. You're done. Aaron tried to make it harder. Shame on you, Aaron. And go, yeah, no, I can't do that. Yeah, you can. Take that third number, multiply it. Please tell me you're not drawing still. Okay. What are you doing down there? Put. Okay, I was like, girl, you better put that up. So, can we do this other problem and figure out the volume?
Yeah.
Would you please do that other problem and tell me the volume, if you have not done it already? What'd you get, Cameron? You would be correct, sir. So we had the volume equals length times width times height. The length and the width were already done right here. They said it was 20. Area is length times width times the remaining 12. 12 times 2, 24. Boom! 240. So I was able to do it in my head. So I know 12 times 2 is 24. So 12 times 20 is 240. Place value.
Oh,
Place value. Yes, ma'am.
actually, I had to multiply 20 times 12 would be 20.
Okay, so if you're doing it like this and making it harder than it is, sometimes you need to work on your mental math skills. You still have to show your work. However, sometimes working on your mental math skills, because this ends up being harder and some of you end up doing this wrong. Still get support. But if you forget the moving it over. But but if you think about this right here, do you know 12 times 2? Then you should know 12 times 20 because it's just one place value over. So what would be 12 times 30? 360, because what's 12 times 3? 36. So it would just be that extra place value over. That would be 12 times 4. And that's it.